Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very, very, very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people believe in God, people like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. Listener's discretion is advised. Listener's discretion is advised. I'm your only friendly neighborhood schizologist, good psychopath, indigo schizo child on the internet right now. I do not sugarcoat my videos. My videos are just a niche for the small group of people who are elite. And from my perspective, if you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below. You know I'm the real McCoy, because if you just read my description, you'll understand my shit is just different. Okay, all right? Eccentric, esoteric. I am actually an INFJ as well, one of the rare, few elite individuals who seem to focus mainly on humanitarian issues and also psychological issues and keeping themselves from the general masses of asses. But of course, the only flaw with the INFJ, which is the Myers-Briggs, is that you suffer yourself. It's like you're Jesus types. Okay, all right, okay, we got it. And I require that you read that, who I am, down below before you make a judgment call. Okay, all right? These videos are not for the masses of asses. If you're sensitive, you're NPC, you're EDB, emotional douchebag, you don't ask questions, you just make a prejudgment call. You should not watch my videos. You smoke, drink, I already made my video already, all right? Made the disclaimer already. Now, this video is going to be for those who are parenting or plan on parenting. Like I said before, I make plenty of videos that's not talking about what everybody is talking about on the internet. I said this time and time again, I am old school, I am Gen X, and I say this time and time again so you won't forget. If you need a father figure or a virtual so-called friend, associate that you never had before, such as Indigo, who have no sins, I have no sins in my past. All right, there we go. So that's what you know. You contact me from my Facebook first and then join my Patreon. You can join either the first tier, second, third, or fourth. It's up to you. I take out the middleman, but my information is valuable. It's scattered throughout the internet on under Matthias Knowledge. This video is about how to raise your daughters. Simply put, real parents homeschool, while the bad parents don't homeschool. I already said this time and time again. You are a terrible parent if you need to put them in public schooling. You're a terrible parent. And as a matter of fact, the one thing I want to talk about with daughters, which are definitely harder to raise than sons, is that if you have daughters, teach your daughters to be more independent of themselves rather than focus on the man's wealth. Because I teach my daughters that you don't want to rely on anybody, right? So have your own, right? A lot of weak-willed women tend to look at the focus as security for a man to support them, which is kind of okay, but you got to sacrifice yourself. You're putting yourself in a dilemma, right? You have to literally be into polygyny. You literally got to be a virgin, especially if he's an alpha. Most men usually settle for less. Men are easy. They're very low maintenance. So when you're an ordinary female who used to be a prostitute and you still got a part of your beauty with you and you want to deal with a man, stop focusing on marriage, because that marriage, I'm trying to eliminate that shit. Marriage is fraud. There's no benefit for marriage when he leaves a divorce, and it's usually not him initiating a divorce anyway. Women they set that up so for a man's failure as like collateral damage. Okay, you teach your daughters these fundamental things: to be independent from oneself, from anybody else. You never should be relying on anybody. But if you do, you're gonna have to do a lot of things. A lot of self-sacrifice. Even as a matter of fact, if you're so not confident with yourself that you can keep a man, you should focus on polygyny. I try to tell women all of the time, okay, you're not a virgin. I tried to tell Kevin Samuels to talk about virginity, but he didn't talk about that too much. He talked about accountability, which I told him. I told him to talk about it. That's why he wore the suit and tie, and he did it. And one of his videos flew out. Because I told you before, if you follow me, you'll get some great innovative ideas. But you can't copy everything. There's a lot of copycats out there. All right, I'm not interested in being popular. Rest in peace, his soul. And I tried to warn Andrew Tate. Arrogance leads to a great fall. Okay, but he got caught up. You can't be snitching on yourself. He's like wet snitching behind his own self, telling on himself on national TV. I tell people all the time how I be making up stories when I say burn people's houses down. I talk about all sorts of crazy shit. But a lot of stuff I'm talking about is factual though. I don't really pull chains and cut. I'm not trying to get in trouble with that shit though. But the spirits made me do it because I'm a crazy ass, bat out of hell schizo, right? You don't know what real is and what it's not. You got to know a person, right, before you make a judgment, right? And that's why defamation of character is fucking real. Okay, I digress here. But anyway, if you have daughters, which I have babysitted tons and tons of kids in the past, daughters are hard and they have this mentality psychosis in which they think they're pretty. This is the princess syndrome. Never teach your daughters princess syndrome. Never give them makeup, nails, or anything. No, you're not supposed to do that, peoples. You're not supposed to make your daughters pretty by putting makeup on them, saying you need to. No, 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 no. That's not the way you talk to daughters. You never tell them how to show off to anybody and be better than everybody else. No. Daughters are supposed to be submissive. They're supposed to focus on polygyny and keeping their virginity. All your daughters that you have in your life, they supposed to come to you for authorization, right? Nobody really goes by that. Nobody knows what tradition is no more. Back in the heydays, in the 60s and 70s, it was always a permission thing, where the parents can approve of the mate that their daughters are dating. No longer that nobody does that. I'm doing that shit. Okay, but I try to tell you guys all the time. Most of you are terrible parenting. I keep telling you, you can't allow your daughters to do what they want to do, and when you do that, you cause them to run around with their heads cut off. Now we got a bunch of feminist people, females out there who think they're equals. They don't read the Bible. Okay, if you want to teach your child great evil for a greater good, you go religious. You go to the Catholic faith. You don't tell them anything about how to think for themselves. And teach them about a spook in the sky, right? You teach them about a spook in the sky like on Burning Hell. That may go but so far, but everybody's going to hell in a handbasket because the Bible clearly tells you the rules and regulations, but nobody follow that shit. But trust me on this, if you have daughters in your life, first things first, get them out of them public schools because public influence is a very dangerous thing for daughters. I watched this one movie. This is all unscripted, by the way. It was called Case 39. And I saw this demon girl whispering shit. You couldn't hear her talking, but influence is very powerful. It was coming from the demon's mouth, from a little girl inside of her body and shit. You should watch Case 39. Very great movie, man. It's about a caseworker who wanted to take in an adopted female who was rejected by her former parents, okay, who almost tried to burn her in the fucking oven and shit. I'm like, oh shit, why did they try to burn that little bitch in the oven? But anyway, when you have daughters, life gets harder. I have this neighbor of mine, who just have a daughter. And I think I cursed her because he always have boys. He got 3 boys. But now she got a girl coming on the way. I say, I hope you get a girl. I hope you get a boy. And then the girl pops up. I always wanted fucking boys. I know how easy it is to raise boys, guys. Yeah. They tend to be more into the video games. Their logic is wide open, much more than if you had any daughters. Unless you have a feminine gene. If you have a feminine gene and you are feminine in a certain aspect, your kids will be feminine as well. Because I have a masculine gene. I do not fucking play around with that illogical, emotional shit. I don't play that shit. If I make a mistake, I'll be like, oh, I made a mistake, and I'm saying sorry once. That's it. I don't make the same mistake twice. But if you do have daughters, you understand what I'm saying in this video, okay? Always teach your daughters about polygyny and virginity and always get an approval from you. If they want to do their own thing, you can do a Lawrence Fishburne type thing and they reject them, throw them out in the street because they're no good for you. You could do everything in your power to convince your daughters not to do certain things, but you got to give them a taste by allowing them to show them visually what will happen to you if you disobey your father. Most people haven't had alpha fathers. This is a fact. So what's going to happen is that a lot of beta males get involved with relationships, and beta alpha males who are usually not around, okay, half the time, will have a great influence on your daughters because of beauty and superficialness, like money. Teach your daughters about independence. And independence is very important. A lot of women are not very independent. They tend to feed off of the man's sorrows and pains and his profits. And that's going to have to stop. So right now I'm working on the paternity fraud thing. I'm trying to get it cracking, guys. I did the Joe versus Wade magic. Well, if you want me to do a certain type of magic, I have to spill some blood in order to activate these things. I lose a lot of blood and energy. You don't know what type of person I am. You don't know what indigo child I am. You don't know. But well, usually when I want something to be done, and it's not something less like wealth or anything like that. It's more like a humility thing, a suffering thing for empathy for the whole entire world, mainly for guys, because I know a lot of more guys who are virgins, who never even seen a piece of pussy. Even in Africa, they don't even have porn over there. Okay, you can't even watch porn. They go in there the internet cafes and they can't even activate the shit because they don't know where to look. But anyway, if you have daughters, you have to discipline them well. You have to teach them that certain choices can lead to their demise later on in their life. And they will listen. I teach my daughters all the time. Be smart, educated, have hobbies like what guys like to do. Because guys have far more hobbies than women do. I'm not talking down on women. Sometimes there'll be some females I encounter on my Facebook. And they say, why you talk so much hate on them? So I don't hate on females. I just know your psychology. You haven't been taught. That's why I started the Kevin Samuels and the Passport Boys. I'm the one that got the videos. And then everybody want to copy, but they got that little bit of information. They run with it. And I tell you Passport Boys all the time, okay, if life gives you lemons, they used to say make lemonade, but before that it was called if life gives you lemons, make babies. I heard that shit from women's mouth, okay? It was like life gives you make babies, because when you make the babies, you can be a public charge, okay? Even the Pimps said that women are always going to be a liability. But I said before, I talk about other things rather than just that. But you know how to get in touch with me, guys down below. Okay, and guess what I'm going to say? I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter man. And also, I'll be watching Ben Shapiro, okay? And I think Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens would have been a perfect match, but I believe Ben Shapiro is more fearful. He takes the vaccine. He takes the COVID, the 19. Not the COVID, but the stupid 19 thing. And they don't get along. Okay, Candy Owens and I said, that one thing you should know better, guys. Just do your research on the vaccines and stuff, and then you'll be okay. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying anything to make my video get pulled down. But this video is about how to raise your daughters. And those are a few things I mentioned in this video that are very beneficial to all people who have kids. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're a bad parent. Okay, 80% of people out there, to me, are bad parents. You smoking, drinking, fucking, socializing. Most of you are bad. Okay. But anyway, that's all I want to say for right now. And I love animals more than humans. Okay, you read my credentials down below, and y'all have a nice day. How to raise your daughters is this video. And my next video is going to be about paper money fucking, because I made it on the previous video, and I tell guys all the time, if you're simping, you're going to be limping. Okay, but I teach guys all sorts of ways of getting used booties all of the time. But if they want to fuck up their life, let them make a choice to fuck up their life. And I teach women how to take advantage of men too. Okay, because they're so weak. A lot of men are very weak. Okay, right? Okay, so other than that, it's a two-way street. I help women and men. I'm a virtual person. I do not do the Kevin Samuel style type stuff. No, I'm too hardcore for that. I will actually help you. I will not give you harsh critique. Okay, I will just say, okay, this is the things you need to do, and you keep in touch. And we do one thing at a time, doing affirmations and all that. You follow me, and you have a personal coach. I am a personal coach, therapist / indigo child. All right. You won't find it on the internet. I also do magic, but I don't do magic anymore. Okay, guys. Yeah, okay. And magic works differently for everybody. But anyway, you guys, I love you. I love you all, but I hate the many of you. All right. And so, what else is there to say about having daughters? Watch your daughters. Your daughters can actually ruin your life. Yeah, I know a lot of parents who had daughters, and their daughters wanted boyfriends, brought the boyfriend around, and it caused whole hell. I have seen situations where these mothers be letting their daughters watch this and dance this way, and I'm not around. And then the house gets shot up, okay, because the boys The girls are in the public schooling, socializing with their male associate counterparts, and then all hell breaks loose. I'm never around that shit. I had some incidents when I had chances to knock up some daughters here and there, but hey, I get paid for my services. I do not play around, okay? I don't even do women who are not virgins. So if she's not a virgin, she's gotta have some money. Gotta have some money. This is why it's important to teach your daughters about independence. Get your shit together. Don't rely on a man, okay? That can be detriment. I teach my daughters about polygyny and how to focus on how to be a female. Or she can focus on independence. There's multiple ways of going about life. Other than that, I'm out here, guys. I'm still alive. I'm just relaxing. I think I'm about to move soon. I can sense it. I get the itching in my fingertips, in my feet. So I got to be careful, okay, of who I congregate. I don't even congregate with nobody, which is good. You're not supposed to congregate with nobody. Because if you congregate with people, you got to learn their ways. And you got to go behind their back and you got to test them to see what they're saying. You know, if you hear a ringing in your ear, you know somebody talking about you. And that's a good thing, negatively or positively. Other than that, I'm out of here, guys. I love you all, but I hate the man view. Peace.